Hi there, welcome to a show where I talk about overlooked stuff, what people with nothing better to do might enjoy. Today's topic, Urgot support. Link to the full build in the description below. Bot lane is about shooting each other with guns. Urgetty Spaghetti is a shotgun knees man. He has 6 shotguns. That's 5 more guns than the enemy ADC. The math is mathing, I rest my case. Not enough to convince you? Fine, let me pitch you another reason. Do you want to play as a sentient meat grinder, like Leona but with actual damage? Are you tired of being jumped by Nautilus and losing? Once again, Spaghetti Urgetty is your solution. With the ability to jump people and flip them over only to mulch them with a full auto shotgun that does percentage max HP damage, Urgot is the ultimate anti-Vanguard loadout and a death sentence for any squishy that dare walk into shotgunning distance. And if that wasn't enough, Urgot achieves full build with one item, Black Cleaver. Just like Irelia with Vamp Scepter, Urgot can manhandle anyone he wants with a single Black Cleaver. Everything else is just a bonus. I'm not kidding, when I was making the Mobafire page for this video, I stared at the items page for a solid 5 minutes thinking of ways to populate it, because you legit can win the game with just Black Cleaver. And if all of this isn't enough for you to try it out, then I don't know, man. I don't have anything else written down in the script. I'm out of pitches. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the runes instead. The rune page for Urgot support is good old PTA, press the attack. So we're going to be using PTA, Triumph, Legend Haste, and Cut Down. For the second tree, I would say go Shoot Bash and Overgrowth. Honestly, you can swap these out for something else if there's something, other than Shoot Bash and Overgrowth that suits your playstyle more, but I prefer Shoot Bash and Overgrowth just to give Urgot a little bit of damage when after he uses his E, and a little bit more tankiness as he scales throughout the game. For adaptives, I would recommend Ability Haste, Adaptive Damage, and then 10% tenacity / slow resist so that you can crab walk even better during team fights. And that's it for the runes. Simple and quick, nothing fancy. For summoner spells, I would like to recommend 3 loadouts. There's the standard kill angle, which is Flash Ignite. You flash with E and then you ignite them. Or the second page, which is Exhaust Flash. Or Flash Exhaust, whichever. I don't know why I put Exhaust before Flash, honestly. But this is anti-mobility. If the enemies often have very tricky ways to escape, you could technically flash to engage on them, and after you catch them, you exhaust them. So even if they flash or try to dash or do anything away, they're slowed and they can't run. So this is why it's the anti-mobility loadout. And then for the third one is the Kakakoko page, which is you take Heal and Ignite. Heal for pseudo mobility while also helping your ADC, and Ignite just to kill people. That's it. Use this at your own risk. It arguably is my favorite page to use, but use it at your own risk. Let's talk about the items. This is arguably the most difficult page I had to work with in this video because there really wasn't much to put in, honestly, because Urgot just wins with his first item, Black Cleaver. But that aside, starting item is the same for every support these days. Ward Atlas, Health Pot, Stealth Ward. First back you get Phage and Boots if possible. Support item conversion is Blood Song. First item is Black Cleaver. And then for boot options, you can get Swifties, Steel Caps, or Merc Treads. Swifties for more mobilities, and Steel Caps and Merc Treads is just whatever defensives you need at the moment. And second item options, you can either go Trailblazer, Eclipse, Thornmail, or Stridebreaker. So you might be thinking that Stridebreaker, specifically, might be a bit too expensive for a support to buy, but since, as I mentioned before, Urgot wins with only a single Black Cleaver most of the time, so all that extra gold is just extra bonus stats that Urgot can use. Therefore, investing money into Stridebreaker isn't that bad for Urgot. It's actually beneficial and viable. So it all just comes down to the environment or situation you find yourself needing. Trailblazer for more mobility and helping your ADC move around faster as well. Eclipse if you're trying to just get extra shielding when fighting and also some little bit extra AD. And then there's Thornmail, which is anti-heal, and then Stridebreaker if you want to catch people after you eat them with the slow. Now third item options are Frozen Heart's Derek's Gauge, Mauve Mortius, and Randion's Omen. So same as second item, they're entirely situational. Normally I just build Frozen Heart to go anti-ADC and just get extra armor, but you can also just go Sterex for just sheer bruiser power, Malmortius if there's a really strong AP champion on their team. And there's also Randuin's Omen if you want extra catch potential with a slow and also anti-crit. And final item options, I would say either Titanic Hydra or Jack Show. Most of the time I would recommend Titanic Hydra because Urgot just synergizes so well with Titanic Hydra and its cleave passive. But you could also go Jack Show if your team really needs a durable frontliner. It's up to you. Now the quick summary for this build is just Bloodsong, Black Cleaver, and Boots of Swifties for the core build. For an example build versus full AD, you can go Bloodsong, Black Cleaver, Plated Steel Caps, Trailblazer, Frozen Heart, Titanic Hydra. Full build versus AP would be Bloodsong, Black Cleaver, Merc Treads, Trailblazer, Maw of Mortius, and then Titanic Hydra. And that's pretty much it for the item section on Urgot support. Not much to talk there, but I guess that's one of his strengths and charms. He's very simple and very effective with only one item. For skill point distribution on Urgot, you want to go Q, W, and E, or you could technically also go Q and E if you're planning to engage, but I normally go Q, W, E because normally they're trying to engage on me first. So I just have W there as a sort of defensive tool so that if they jump me, I can just press W and shoot them back. So there are some niche cases where you can go Q, E into W first. I'm just putting that out there, but personally I would go Q, W, E. That's all I'm saying. Max W first. You want to max W as fast as you can so that you can get that full auto fire in Urgot, and then you want to max E second so that you have a consistent engage ability to catch them and use your W. Q isn't really that important for support Urgot other than level 1 because you're only going to be using it as a sort of defensive poke and catch tool early on. So yeah, take ult whenever you can at 6th level and 16. And that's pretty much it for the ability leveling. Not much to be said here either. Since you start Q on Urgot, you're going to be safely poking level 1, and it's pretty boring. But when you get to level 2, things get fun. A good E engage into an ADC, and that's an easy way to burn their flash. And then you get level 3, which is your real engage. Q, E, W, ignite, and bam, that's a kill. Your mindset when engaging should be similar to how you play Leona. You want to fish with your Q, then follow up with E whenever you feel that there's a kill angle. Never overextend or you'll just end up inting. If the enemy also has a strong engager like Nautilus or Leona, you can also opt to pew your ADC instead. Anytime they try for a dive, either pew off the tank support and chunk them with your shotguns, or dive onto the enemy ADC, forcing them off your ADC. So yeah, early game you're like Leona with a shotgun, patiently fishing for a kill. In mid game, you're still fishing, but in a different way. After you E someone, ult them for a guaranteed hit, pump them with damage, then boom, execute. And then you wait 90 seconds to do it all over again. Additionally, if you've been crab walking correctly, you can push towers really well. Thanks to his W, Urgot can speedrun towers. A trick I learned for this is that if you're at max rank W and can freely toggle the auto fire, the optimal combo for taking tower is 3 W shots, 1 auto, 3 W shots, and you keep looping it. You're also a pretty big threat in skirmishes. They have to respect your ability to execute the enemy jungler in objective fights, not to mention the consistent percentage max HP AoE damage and bruiser level durability. But most of the time, if your lane is ahead, sticking to your ADC and pushing bot lane into oblivion is a much better option than roaming and skirmishing. No matter what you build for late game, Urgot support starts to become not so tanky. You can get blown up pretty easily if you get focused, so it's much better to act as a peeler and off tank rather than the engager. Do not go for solo kills. You've got to respect the enemy team's ability to duel you. Try to behave as a zoner and control the battlefield for your team. Catch people with your E, press R, shoot them and execute them. Bonus points if you can execute near enemy groups so you can use the AoE fear to further tempo the teamfight into your favor. And most importantly, try to show up early for objectives, because Urgot can output a respectable amount of damage with just W and shotgun circling. It helps your team out a lot. Other than that, just macro well and you should be fine. Here are the pros and cons and champion matchups. So for threats and synergies against Urgot, we're gonna start off with Vayne. Vayne is an extreme threat. She can nullify almost everything you do while rolling around and killing you in seconds, because Vayne's thing is just killing tanks and big boys, and you are a big boy. So ban Vayne if you can. It's an ADC that you do not want to fight against. Anivia is also really ass to deal with, because Anivia's support will not let you get close to her ADC if she can use her wall well. But if they don't know how to use her wall well, then, you know, maybe it's not that bad. But overall, Anivia is pretty bad for you to fight as well. Yunara, well, Yunara, other than being kind of overtuned right now, she's also really slippery and hard to catch, especially with her backflip and her slow boomerang thingy. So Urgot also doesn't do that well into Yunara. So these three are something that I would ban if possible when picking Urgot support. Now for major threats, we have Caitlyn. So she can zone you out reasonably well with her traps and E, but you can also just keep bullying her support if she just keeps kiting away from you, and you can just bully her support instead. So it is still kind of manageable, but it's not ideal. But it's still better to fight Caitlyn than Vayne, all in all. Draven is also pretty to fight because he can kind of trade back reasonably well if you don't catch him properly. And he can also knock you away if you try to get close and you whiff. So that's also a pretty big punish for you to take. So try not to fight these two that early as well. Now for the minor threats, you can notice that there's a similarity in the fact that they are all tank type Vanguard-like champions. Nautilus, Leona, Braum, why is it not moving? Alistar, they all have the same strategy against you. Their whole strategy is to go in, take your ADC, and then put them in a vulnerable position or CC them so that their ADC can kill them. But the greatest part is that you can just go in there and shotgun them or shotgun their ADC to death, and they'll just have to either take the bad trade, or their ADC dies, or they die. Or maybe it's just a double kill. So these are very, very good matchups against you. In fact, if they pick Vanguard champions and you picking Urgot support into Vanguard supports is actually not a bad idea at all. It's a pretty good strat, in my opinion. Now, for the synergies, I would say Swain is good, but then again, Swain APC is always known to be an ADC bullier, so when he's paired with you, you can just bully ADCs together. Caitlyn, ironically, is very good with Urgot because she can continue off of your CC chain by placing a trap underneath their feet and just keep headshotting them and bullying them, and she can also help you execute targets if you fail with her ult. So yeah, Caitlyn is a great pick alongside Urgot. Kalista is also great because her ult is just set up for you to just go in and just kill people. It's great synergy. For strong, I'd say Jhin, similar to Caitlyn, but he just takes a little bit more time than her to scale, so that's why he's a little bit weaker in my opinion. Tristana because you can jump people together, explode people together. Misfortune because she can help you catch people with her E coconuts, and she can also follow up on your whole engaged shotgun thing with her ult, dealing a surprisingly large amount of AoE damage together. And Yasuo, well, you E someone, Yasuo ults them, and it's just execute. It's just easy. It's just an easy setup for Yasuo to follow up on. And Draven, you're both early damage abusing champs with execute ults, so it's just clean, one and done type of deal. And yeah, I'd say that's all the threats and synergies I'd like to talk about today. Now, I know I've already said this, but really the most difficult part about Urgot support was just figuring out what to even build after Black Cleaver. Urgot really is just one of those characters who performs so well with one item that everything else is just extra. Even writing the guide felt so weird because what else do you do on Urgot other than crab walk at people then munch them with like a wood chipper? Most of his gameplay is macro and positioning, really. But nonetheless, I would say that is one of his greatest strengths. It works, it's good, and it's fun. But what do you think? How have your Urgot games been? What do you build after Black Cleaver? Any special tips you want to share? Did you enjoy watching? And did you subscribe? Do you have your own suggestions for this series? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Your idea could end up in the next community poll. And if you're looking for a place to discuss or suggest off-meta builds for this channel, join our community Discord server. And that's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Over 90% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel, so consider doing so if you're interested. I'll catch you guys later. Rock Tofu, signing off.